are not here with me today. And the librarian said, you can't buy no respect. I said, hey lady, what can you expect when I'm lying on the floor? You're a lovely lady, but you don't want to be no girl of mine. Well, the only thing you ever done for me was help me waste my time. And I saw you at the funeral. You were standing there like a temple. I said, hi, how are you? Hello, and I pulled up a casket and crawled in. Climbed up a mountain, and I looked around. Some kind of circus with all...
Have you seen those TikToks that were trending like a month ago in the art part of TikTok, of people showing their good and bad art to the sound of, so you're an artist? Yeah. Are you any good? Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. I fucking love those. And lately I've been going through my shit era. Like, I don't think I've painted anything decent in so far this month, and we're like halfway through, which I don't mind. I've learned to be okay with it. I guess it's because I've proven by now myself what I'm capable of, and that sometimes I'm maybe good, sometimes I'm maybe shit. So I'm just like taking it slow. I know it'll come back, but also I feel like I'm in such a good mood and very excited about life, is because I've been watching a lot of good movies lately, and that always makes me feel great. A good movie never fails to make me feel like a brand new person, even though it only lasts like until the end of the day, and then I'm back into being my good old self. But some small change does remain inside of you and carries on, and the more movies you watch, the more it adds up, and you do end up becoming a better version of yourself. That's why it's so important to watch good movies, foreign movies, independent movies, quirky movies. I also recently rewatched the Daniel Johnston documentary because my girlfriend likes his music, but she never knew anything about him, and I've been obsessively listening to him this month a lot, so I thought, perfect chance to rewatch the documentary. And I completely forgot how much he documented his life. And I don't mean songs, I mean recording conversations on cassette tapes and such. It made me to really want to document my life more. I regret so much not having a YouTube channel when I was like 23, and having now a glimpse into my life by then, because I don't even have pictures, I have nothing. I've always strayed away from any kind of memorabilia of my own life. So hopefully that means you will also gonna be seeing more vlogs by my part. If anything fucking interesting happens in my life, I feel so boring lately. But also, I've decided I'm gonna be doing vloggy part on my camcorder. But worry not, my painting process parts of the video will be filmed with my iPhone, so you can get all those juicy details. And like I said, I wasn't having much luck with my paintings this few weeks, so I think I'm gonna have a small break from big format and paint something smaller. I was thinking of painting maybe a cat or an animal, but my heart is never in it. I only seem to care and to feel passionate about is painting people. Even though pet portraits, I feel like it what brings the most money to a portrait artist, so at one point I should expand to animals. Time will come. Time will tell. Gamercam, welcome to my kitchen. I always feel so silly with my voiceovers, and because I never know what to talk about, so I thought, let's do Gamercam, so that if I have nothing to say, or if what I'm saying is boring and stupid, at least you have my pretty face to look at. Also, my fridge is making sound, so I hope it doesn't come off on the mic. But anyway, let me put you into perspective of what you're looking at right now. So usually when I do a portrait, I first draw the head on paper, and then I would trace it by blowing it up or making it smaller so it fits better the canvas that I'm working on, because I'm very bad at judging the size when I'm painting directly with the brush. As you can see, it's gonna take me like 3 or 4 times to get it right. I'm looking at my laptop right here, by the way, that's why I sometimes might be looking to the other side. The thing is that I hate tracing. I find it very boring. Also, it takes time to draw, then you have to trace it. It is very helpful in being that you don't have to redraw or resize the head. The reason I always trace my drawings is because I don't like drawing directly on canvas, because since I never get it right, I have to erase it a lot and it smudges the canvas and it loses flexibility, so I have to spray water it so it goes back into its original elasticity. I don't like either doing it with paints, because then when I wipe it off, it does leave a lot of residue, and Kazma throw me off with proportions when I re-sketch again. Thing is, a couple of weeks ago I was at the art store, and at the entrance they had a box with a lot of discounted paints, and some of them were of the brand that I use, and they were like on a big discount. I'm talking 60mm tubes for €3. That is paradise. I got a few paints, especially of colors that I never used before. Very great opportunity to experiment cheaply. And one of the tubes that I got was raw sienna, and I've never used raw sienna. This one as well is transparent, and I found it to be perfect for sketching on canvas, because then I can wipe it off with my wet wipe and it barely leaves any residue or any mark. So I thought it was perfect opportunity to start painting directly on canvas and skip the tracing part. I'm also gonna be making myself a peanut butter toast, so excuse me. And as you can see, I did get it at the end. It looks like garbage, it looks very bad, but that's because I always use my outlinings as very rough guidelines, and then I just fix it all in post-production. And I am going a little bit blind with this painting. I did make a few sketches, but it was mostly to give myself a better idea of how I want the light to fall on the face. And it's a very small portrait, it's gonna be just bust size. And actually, since I don't know what to talk about, let's jump on the subject of tracing, because honestly to me, I absolutely don't give a fuck even artist traces. I always saw it just as a tool, and because my artistic circle is so small and I don't really participate in any forums or discords and whatnot, I'm not aware what's the word in the street lately. But I do remember back when I was on Tumblr in its golden age, people were giving each other a lot of shit for tracing. And I'm talking about tracing your own drawings. And like a lot of times this kind of criticism comes from people who don't paint themselves, who are not artists. So I feel like that inflates their opinion mightily to my eyes. But a lot of times it comes from artists who judge other artists on how they make art, because perhaps they see it less pure to their way of making. And before I dive deep, I'm gonna be very clear. I not only support tracing your own drawings, I also believe that if you want to trace a picture, a photography, just because you don't feel like drawing, you feel like painting, or maybe you're bad at drawing and you just want to paint, trace it. Who cares? I think it's important to try to focus and imagine life before the internet. Imagine that you are in your room making your art. No one else will see, because no galleries want you. So you're making art just for yourself. Would you care? Would you care about that? Nah. And honestly, neither do people. It's all about the final piece than about how it was created. But I know it's a very controversial opinion to many of y'all, probably. Which, funny enough, I recently watched a documentary, I'm pretty sure it was somewhere on YouTube, about Norman Rockwell. Norman fucking Rockwell, to quote Lana Del Rey. And they talked about his creating process. And guess what? He used to trace his own drawings. He used to project them into the canvas or bigger piece of paper. I don't know what he painted on paper, I think, because I don't ever remember seeing canvas texture on his painting. But maybe I just didn't look close enough. And you go to the comments and there's people saying, oh, I used to admire his painting a lot and now I don't know what you think, or that's cheating, what a disappointment. And we're talking about Norman Rockwell, one of the foundations of the modern American art. People always be criticizing, so just learn to not give a fuck and make art your own way. I do believe it's important that you learn to draw and that you learn to be able to not rely on sketches. But for example, me, for first couple of years, I did used to trace a lot because what I wanted to learn the most was to paint and not to draw. And yeah, one thing goes in hand with the other, whatever. But I just really wanted to paint and I didn't want to waste hours on a drawing and then paint over it and the paint turned out shit and feel like I wasted time and cry about it, because I would definitely cry about it. So I would just traced and paint, traced and paint, traced and paint, and I improved painting a lot. And because I improved painting, you inherently as well improve your drawings. I became much better at drawing without even practicing drawings. I talked about that a lot before. Whether it's the drawing first or painting first, both things complement each other and improve the other one. But the reason that I wanted to start painting directly on canvas is that I think it will add more fluidity to the figure overall, hopefully. We'll see how this one turns out. So far so good, loving it. French kiss. Okay, and I'm gonna cut it here. Good morning, I just washed my vintage t-shirt that arrived. This year I'm trying to get myself more band t-shirts. Right now I am actually wearing the only one that I have, which is Nirvana, and I can't even wear it outside because it's a little bit too short, so just my homie in my PG t-shirt. So I got this one, Joy Division, you know, classic as band t-shirts go. Wait, actually let me try it. I'm always on the lookout for Dead Kennedy's t-shirt, and I want a simple one, the one that comes with their logo, but I just can't find it. Not many Dead Kennedy's t-shirts on Vinted, and whenever I see something, people are selling them for like 15, 22 euros a t-shirt. This one I got for 2 euros, and that's what I'm willing to pay for a t-shirt. So as you can see, I advanced the painting a little bit yesterday. I would say the face is about, I don't know, 98% finished. I'm pretty close to where I want to be. I did it all off camera because even though I'm getting very good at painting while filming myself, like before I remember being so self-aware of not getting into the camera, and nowadays I just paint, and if there's footage to be salvaged, fantastic. If not, well, I'll deal with that. But anyway, and just now as well I did the background. I will be changing some values around here. But first I want to work on the shirt and then as well finish the hair. But I will keep this abstract background. I really didn't know what colors I want to use, so I was just splashing some paint around. And I like what happened here. As I said, definitely need to change some values and also add some strength to the colors. But I will keep it like that. So right now I'm going to focus on the shirt. I don't know, I hope it comes on the camera. Yesterday I did some lines here with the other tip of my brush because it was just so wet, and I was trying different designs for the t-shirt, and I will go with stripes. First I want to advance more the t-shirt. The problem is that it's still a little bit wet. So I don't think I will be able to finish it today. I'll just work on the green and then add the stripes probably tomorrow, but I also have arms to keep working on, so I'm gonna keep myself busy today. I'm gonna film this quickly while my girlfriend's at the beach, because I still feel quite shy doing this in front of other people, even if it's my partner. I don't remember what was the last thing that I showed regarding the process, if I jumped too much, but here it is. I was still gonna give it a few highlights, rework the hair a little bit, but then I started working on another painting and it got my full attention. Honestly, I started working on it just as a little bit of side project, so I don't focus too much on the other one. But then I just fell in love with what was happening, and I just kept working solely on this one. It's also very thematic for me because this week I suddenly started listening again just to folk music non-stop. I'm talking like 60s, 70s folk. And I don't know if it translates into it, but I do think that the whatever the songs that I was listening to made me feel sipped out through the canvas. And I think that's why it kind of feels like one of my favorite paintings now. I just really like looking at it. It turned out a little bit too dim. I think it's because I was mixing too much ochre with everything. And even though I would have loved a little bit of a higher contrast on it, I do like the mood it came out with. And so yeah, these are the paintings that I worked with these last 2 weeks. And I'm just gonna finish it here and go join my girlfriend at the beach. So I'll see you later and thank you for watching. Ding.